Welcome to Ctrl Alt Defeat, the show where a lifelong gamer
and a slightly more modern one.
take on the world of gaming, one title at a time.
We're diving into everything from RPGs to hidden indie gems.
To whatever we find lurking on Game Pass.
No scripts, no filter, just real gameplay, real reactions.
And probably a few catastrophic failures. And today, we're starting strong.
Or starting weird.
Because somehow, we ended up playing Pigeon Simulator.
A game where you live the high-flying life.
Of a completely unhinged pigeon.
There's flying.
Sort of.
There's chaos.
A lot of it.
And apparently weaponized bird poop.
So the real question is
this game actually fun?
Or are we about to regret everything? Let's find out.
Chaos, feathers, flight, and probably catastrophic landings.
Hello, I'm Stevie Blaze.
And I'm Argo.
And together, Ctrl Alt Defeat. Alright, so we just got done playing Pigeon Simulator, and what's our first impressions, Argo?
So, it definitely was not what I was expecting. I can definitely say that I was expecting something more along the lines of Goat Simulator, where you just go around and goof around, but it ended up being something more like more like Lethal Company, where you gather loot, in this case anomalies, take them to your base or ship or whatever, and you have to meet a quota, and every time you meet that quota, you get a new quota for the next stage, and it keeps going higher and higher, and you see how far you can get.
Yeah, the anomalies thing was kind of weird. I also wasn't expecting that. It was ridiculous, which I was indeed inspecting. So that part I did expect.
That can be true. I love the way that the movement works. Like, one moment you're moving at a normal pace, and the next moment you're just zooming into a wall and ragdolling. It's hilarious. I love that.
Actually, I hated the movement, to be honest.
You hated the movement?
Yeah, so my biggest issue was like I'm playing Pigeon Simulator. I wanted to fly, okay? I wanted to fly around and be a pigeon. But the way the
Okay,
movement
you do
works,
kind of glide.
well, it's not even gliding. Like you just jump, you flap once. Now, we didn't play long enough to really fully level up our pigeons. So it's very possible that fully leveled up, I would have got what I want. So maybe that's us not giving the game enough time. But
All right.
initial reactions when you first start, because this does have a level up system. You level up your
Yeah.
pigeon with points, and you can
So here's the way it
gain more
works.
jumping, you can gain more gliding. So it would probably be closer to what I was expecting, but right off the bat, I wanted to fly, and I barely did a lot of flying as a pigeon.
This is true. So this is the way that it works. When you play the game, you gather your anomalies, all that jazz. But in between stages, you get to come back to your home base. And when you get there, you're able to upgrade using points that you earned from gathering those anomalies, so long as your team didn't all die. As long as one of you makes it out, you all get the point. But if none of you make it, then you lose everything. And that's what makes it a roguelike. You end up losing all your stuff the moment you fail, and you have to start from scratch. But you can get upgrades and buy items that can help you to survive easier or even get more points. For example, there's items that you can wear on your back, like there's this one item that helps you regen health over time, or this one that seals anomaly rifts so that the enemies don't show up as often. And that's another thing, the combat. For the combat, really the only thing you have to fight with is poop.
Is your poop. You
Literally, you just fire poop out of your butthole at these enemies, like TVs, possessed traffic cones, all kinds of stuff.
Oh yeah, the enemies were weird.
Not in a bad way. I didn't hate the enemy.
I didn't say I hated them. I'm saying they were weird.
And that's the other thing. On top of that, it does reward you for the combat. The combat is rewarding, I will say that much, because sometimes when you kill enemies, instead of just running away, if you kill one, they can drop health or they can drop bonus money, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, yeah, that is true. But yeah, this game was it was weird. It was very weird. It was
It
not
was weird.
cup of tea. I'm gonna say that now.
I don't know. If you, for somebody, let's say you don't have a computer and so you can't access things like Lethal Company, but you want to play something similar, I think that it would be a good play for somebody who enjoys those kinds of games.
Maybe. I mean, that is very true that this might be somebody's cup of tea. Now, when I think of a simulator game, what I want is I want to build something. I want to do something. One of my favorites that I was playing was um, a store simulator, where you supermarket simulator where you get to create your
Yep.
store, you get more product that you put on there, you keep it clean, you get to name it, like you are building
Yeah,
something.
we might do an episode on this later.
We might, so I won't go too farther in. But that's like Sim City. I'm creating a city. Sims, I'm creating a family essentially, or murdering them. That seems to be a popular thing with Sims. Uh,
Yeah, there's a dude who does that all the time.
So those are the kind of sim games I like, and this was less a sim game and more, like you said, a rogue game. There wasn't really anything
Roguelike is the term.
roguelike. Okay, there wasn't really anything that was a simulation. Like I didn't play this game thinking, oh, this is what life as a pigeon is. No, this is what life as a pigeon who is a secret agent facing off against aliens or ghosts or whatever the hell we had in this
What
game.
did they do a movie? Didn't they do a movie about a secret agent where Will Smith was a pigeon?
Maybe.
I'm pretty sure they did.
It's possible. I'm not. It might not have been Will Smith, but it's possible.
It was definitely based on Will Smith.
Okay. But my point is like I feel like this deserved a different name because it wasn't a simulator game.
I'll
Because
give you that. It definitely wasn't a simulator.
yeah, that's bad marketing right there. I'm
That is
expecting
bad
a
marketing. I will tell that.
simulator game, which I guess this is the same issue with Goat Sim. I've never played Goat Simulator, but I've seen it played enough to know it's just ridiculous. And you're not playing as a goat. You don't really. I mean, you are a goat, yes, officially in the
And you
legal
do
sense
goat
of the term.
things, but there are strange aspects of it, like being able to turn into a demon goat or whatever.
Exactly. You know what was more of a simulator game than this? I played as an alien I don't think I ever probed anyone, but I played as an alien running a convenience store, and that felt more like an actual simulator game than
And they didn't call it like Alien Gas Station Simulator thing. They called it what? Roadside Research?
roadside research. They didn't give us the simulator title, but it was very similar to the supermarket simulator game, but you play as an alien and you're trying to research humans. And that was
Again, we might do an episode on that.
yeah, that was more apt to the simulator title than this. This should not be a simulator game because there is nothing simulator. You don't even fly around as a pigeon. Not at first. You jump and you glide. That's it.
And poop on things. Fun fact, I did find out if you poop on the cars enough, they turn completely white.
That's good to know. Uh, well, I mean, pooping on things was probably the most realistic part of being a pigeon this game provided.
Alright, enough talking about the name, though. Enough talking about the name. We need to get back on track here. So, what did you like about the game?
I got to poop on things.
Is that all you have to say?
It was the only part of the game that fit the aesthetic. The game
I
was
liked the
ridiculous.
secrets and little snippets you could find. Like I found out if you you can find these propane tank like things around the map, and there's certain areas that are barricaded. If you take them to there and then blow them up, sure you might catch on fire, but you open up that building and you can go inside, and there's extra loot there, and there's extra like interactions and neat little scenes you can find, like a cult worshipping something. I can't remember what they were worshipping.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really like this game, so there wasn't a lot of positive I have for it. I'm mostly joking about the pooping thing because I don't really think the attack mechanics was all that smooth and good. Um,
No, not really, personally. I mean, it'd be good for some, like I said, it's good for somebody who wants to play something like a lethal, like where you're able to fight back a little bit instead. Where, as opposed to where some simulator games about making progression and trying to save your progress and see how far you can get with managing like a storefront or something.
yeah, I think I wanted something else. I don't know what I wanted from this game. I was hoping for ridiculousness, but I was hoping for like more pigeon related ridiculousness, not ghost and aliens or whatever the hell that you dealt with as a pigeon simulator. Um, I was expecting something else, and sometimes I like stupid, weird, and crazy. I do. I do really like that roadside research game. It is weird, crazy, and simple, and I like that. But this one, I wasn't a fan.
Let it be known that he is the one that picked this game out.
Let it be known. Well, I've been really getting into simulator games lately, and I was like, huh, this might be fun and ridiculous,
I
isn't
don't know.
it?
I enjoyed it.
Well, at
I
least
had a
one
good
of us,
time.
at least one of us did.
All right, so let's go on to rating it. So we talked about what we liked, we talked about what we disliked. Now we need to put it on a scale here. We need to give everybody like, okay, what are the kind of specs we're looking at? So if we want to talk about that, let's start with, I don't know, probably the world. What did you think of the environment they put you in?
Um, I mean, it was mostly the same city over and over again. I mean, we didn't really go to
No,
different
they bounced
worlds.
us around to several different environments and different areas, because there was the one that had like the eyeballs on the walls. There was one where we started in like I think it was a construction zone.
Yeah, but it all was kind of like my point is
It
that
was pretty rinse and repeat, but like they were all cities, and it was kind of
that's my point.
same old, but they were technically different environment.
That's my point though. It's like we didn't go to the desert. We didn't go to like a snowy area. We didn't go
We
to
didn't go to a campsite or nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, it was all pretty much different versions of the city. Yes, they were different parts of the city or whatever, which I guess that probably makes sense for a pigeon. I don't know how much pigeons like to go. They seem to like cities. I don't know. I really don't know much about the pigeon habitat. But
That's fair.
so it was all just so I don't know. The world was kind of small. Maybe there's more levels. Like I said, I played this game for about an hour. I don't know how much more you played afterwards, but
I played a little bit longer, but not that much.
did you go anywhere else other than the city?
No.
No. So yeah, for world, um, we're doing 1 out of 10, 1 out of 10% experience.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm gonna give it a 3.
I'll have to give them an A for effort and trying to be consistent. So I'll give them a solid 5. It's good, but not great. It's right in the middle for the environment. But we want to talk about story. What was the story, and what to speak of?
Well, the story is that you're essentially a secret agent, apparently, and you are trying to find ghost anomalies and stuff. And the story was just ridiculous. It was ridiculous, so I will give it a 5.
I don't know. Personally, for me, secret agent thing, okay, I can buy that. I can buy into that. I think it's a neat little idea. But that's pretty much all there was to the story. Is you're a secret agent. Go find anomalies. That was it. I'll have to give the story a 2.
So yeah, I mean, I gave it a higher score only because, and that's still like halfway. That's half. And I only gave it a little bit higher just because it wasn't what I was looking for with this game. I guess technically, if it was what I wanted, the story would be practically non-existent. You're a pigeon that poops on people. But I'm giving them a little extra points for the creativity of the craziness, even though I'm not a big fan of it.
All right, fair enough. Um, how's about the combat? How did you feel about the combat? Was it clunky? Was it good? Was it bad?
Clunky. And like I said, maybe if I
I'll have to
played
agree
it,
with you. It was pretty clunky.
maybe if I played it longer and I leveled some things up, the combat was kind of stilted. It didn't flow very well. I don't feel. The flying mechanics, like I said, it's weird to me. I could have probably jumped and glided for the as long as this pigeon gets to glide. Uh, maybe, not probably not, but I don't glide very well. But yeah, it was weak combat. I guess the flying isn't the combat part, but yeah, I'm gonna give that a 3 as well.
Combat for me, I have to agree. It was really clunky. It was pretty monotonous because the only thing you can fight with is bird poop, and it's not exactly fast. It's slow. You have to charge it up. I'll have to give it a 3 too. Personally, I mean, it worked, but that was about it.
And this is a simple game. It's not meant to be super complicated, but
Right, but I wish they'd given us a little variety. Like maybe you could pick up an upgrade that makes it so like maybe it's like a burst or maybe even a blast, like a shot, like an area of effect, like a shot.
yeah.
Like that would have been funny. Imagine a shotgun of bird crap flying out your anus directly at some enemy. That'd be hilarious. But yeah, I'd have to give it a 3. Um, but for the game, let's move on to gameplay. And by gameplay, I mean like the progression of things, like how the game works like as a whole.
Gameplay wise, like I said, I wasn't a big fan of the weird aspects that they added, which is grabbing the anomaly stuff to try to uh, scan things. It wasn't fun to me, so gameplay, I'm gonna go with a 4.
So for me personally, here, I think it could be better. It's not the worst, but the problem with it is that all of the like tools you need in order to like seal anomalies, capture certain ghosts, and do a lot of things, they cost currency to buy, which I understand that was a mechanic in things like Lethal Company, where in order to get certain items that can, like the shovel, which you can use to fight back with, though very poorly, those cost money in that too. But at the same time, shovels were inexpensive and cheap. Whereas you could also unlock a shotgun further down the line by killing a certain enemy that was way more effective. And it was a reward that you got for killing one of the most tough enemies in the game, the Nutcracker. In this, you don't get that. And what items you can buy, they're rather expensive, and certain upgrades can be really pricey. And you could have when you could have just upgraded your character to have more health or have more jumps, you can grind on rails, all kinds of things. So honestly, that whole mechanic they neglected a little too much, in my opinion. I'll have to give it. I'll give it a 6. It's like they had the right idea. They just didn't balance it properly, in my opinion.
Fair enough.
And then for the last category we're going to talk about is replay value. How long could you keep playing this game and it not really get old? or how long you can play this game before you get bored, or how many times can you play through the game and see different things.
I'm gonna go with 2. I don't want to replay this game, and I haven't beat the game, so we're gonna go with a 2 on that. I did not enjoy this game. This game was nothing like I was expecting, and the changes from what I expected was not good enough to make me happy.
That's fair. For me personally, if I'm looking at it from a objective point of view, like by the core definition of replay value, which is how long, like how often will you see different things or whatever, I'd have to give it a good solid 7. I'll give it a 7 in terms of objective viewpoint because it's a lethal like. So you can keep playing forever and ever and ever. As long as you your quota, you have more levels. You have more things to do. And you can try different approaches whenever you start over, like upgrading different things, or maybe just going for equipment right off the bat. Or you could just try and do it without upgrading anything. All of these things are options you can do. And I think that's a really good idea. And it does benefit the way that the game is set up to go. So, honestly, it has a good amount of replay value from an objective standpoint. Though, personally, if we're looking at it from how fast you can get bored, I would say it more of a 3. So, my final score I'm going to give it is probably around a 5. So,
So for you, 5 for the replay?
yeah, because objectively, it's got like in theory it has a lot of replay value, but in actuality you can get bored out of it pretty fast. So I'll give it a 5.
All right, so we have this rating system. Obviously, each one of our categories was 1 through 10. So you have a total of 50 experience points.
And we've given each category its own name. So we've got like
1 through 7
about
is
7
glitched.
categories.
7 categories, that is correct. 1 through 7 is glitched. 8
7 through
through
14 would be
15.
bugged.
8 through 14, sorry.
Or yeah, 8 through 14 is bugged, sorry.
15 through 21 is playable. 22,
22 to 29 is solid.
30 to 37 is elite.
38 to 45 would be legendary.
And 46 to 50 is god tier. Those are the best of the best games.
And it's basically a rating that would be individual to us. For whatever total rating that we would give for Stevie Blaze, his ratings is its own separate rate, and then mine would be its own. So, for example, if one of us had 1 score, the other one would have it complete different. So you might be wondering, what did we get?
Well, my score was I gave it 18 experience points, making it simply playable.
And as for me, I gave it a 21, just barely keeping it underneath solid, and it is also in the playable category. So, in conclusion, game is playable,
Eh.
but that's about it. It's good for a one-time run or whatever, or if you're goofing off with some buddies and you don't really care what you're playing, but
Eh. Together, our score out of 100 would be 39. Now, I haven't made a separate system for our together score. We're going to stick with ours. But yes, we would have a 39 score out of 100. Both of these are not very well. If you look at that as a classroom homework assignment, that's a
that
fail.
is an F.
That's an F.
That's a hard F.
Very hard F. Like, that is so hard of an F, I should be bleeping that out right now.
I mean, I could say it out loud if you want.
Negative.
That's a negatory.
All right, so in conclusion, this was a frustrating game. I was not a fan. Not a fan at all.
I enjoyed it, but like I said, there are definitely better games to play out there than this.
It was weird. And not in a fun, weird way. Phew. We survived. Barely.
Seriously. Barely.
All right. Well, thank you all for listening. Control Alt.
See you next defeat.